Wow, an insane last couple weeks for the stock market. Remember last week, the Dow suffered its worst plunge since the month of March, down over 1,800 points. And now, today, Monday's trading day, it has shown a stunning reversal. In total, it was a 1,000-point swing. At one point, the Dow was down as much as over 760 points, and then it ended up finishing over 150 points by the end of the trading day. The Dow closed 157 points higher, or 0.6%, at 25,763. The S&P 500 added 25 points, or 0.8%, and ended up finishing at 3,066. The Nasdaq advanced 137 points, or 1.4%, ending at 97.26. At one point, the Dow was down more than 700 points shortly after the opening bell. This is because of a rise in virus cases in the US and China, and it briefly dampened investors' optimism for a global economic recovery. So what caused this rebound? Well, the Federal Reserve made a surprise announcement that it was going to further support financial markets in the wake of the virus pandemic, and it boosted investor confidence. What do you guys think about the Fed pumping even more money into the economy? Do you think money should only be going to individuals, or should we be bailing out these corporations and helping them as well? Tell me your thoughts down below in the comments. The Federal Reserve said that on Monday it would buy individual corporate bonds, and this is a sign that the central bank will further support credit markets during the pandemic. The Fed said earlier this year it would buy corporate bond exchange-traded funds only. Big tech companies rose, and it also offset declines in industries that were battered by the pandemic, including airlines, retailers, and cruise liners. The Federal Reserve right now is juicing markets with a historic amount of liquidity, and many investors believe that QE infinite is the leading fundamental driving stocks. So previously, the central bank had only been buying ETFs and had said that it would be buying individual issuance on the primary market. So now, on top of the ETFs, or the exchange-traded funds that the Fed is already buying, the Fed is now expanding into corporate debt to buy individual corporate bonds. This program will allot up to $750 billion to use in order to purchase these bonds, and under these guidelines, the Fed said that it's going to buy on the secondary market individual bonds that have remaining maturities of 5 years or less. Now, as the Fed is stimulating the economy, you guys should also stimulate that like button. Be sure that you give the video a big thumbs up, smash the like button. It will just help with YouTube algorithms so more people can see videos just like this, and YouTube will push it out to even more people. Thank you very much. So these purchases will go along with the ETFs that the Fed has already been buying, and those are balanced toward investment grade indexes, but also include some junk bond funds that track debt, which had been investment grade before the crisis but had been downgraded after. So the Fed said in a news release that the intent of the individual debt purchases will be to, quote, create a corporate bond portfolio that is based on a broad, diversified market of U.S. corporate bonds. The statement went on to say that this index is made up of all the bonds in the secondary market that have been issued by U.S. companies that satisfy the facility's minimum rating, maximum maturity, and other criteria. This indexing approach will complement the facility's current purchases of exchange-traded funds. So in order for the Fed to purchase this debt, the issuers must have been rated BBB- or Baa3, depending on the agency, as of March 22nd, just before the Fed announced its credit facilities. Now, spreads on lower grade corporates are back right now to around 3 percentage points, around where they were before the start of the crisis, and yields on AAA-rated Moody's debt hit 2.5% at the end of May, near their lowest since just the end of World War II. Now, the Fed has yet to launch its primary market corporate credit facility. As the name implies, that program will entail purchases in the primary market or the direct issuers, with the Fed being the sole investor. In addition, the primary facility will target syndicated loans and bonds at issuance. And this bond announcement also coincides with the Fed opening its Main Street lending facility after several days that included substantial changes to the program's terms. The Fed on Monday began accepting registrations from lenders that want to participate in this program. The loans will be tailored to small and medium-sized companies, so stocks quickly rebounded and jumped right after this 2 p.m. announcement, and ended up finishing up 157 points after at one point it was down 700 points. Now, still for the last 5 days, the Dow is still in the red. However, you could see this noticeable jump here after the Fed's announcement starting around 2 p.m., and I'm sure there were insiders knowing that this was going to occur, but the announcement came right there, and that's when the jump really happened. And right away, it was up over 1% and up 300 points from that low right there. The S&P 500, the same story. The 5-day chart is still in the red, but you can bet that there were insiders knowing that this announcement was coming, and that's why the Dow slowly but surely, steadily did start to rebound and ended up being in the positive at around 1 p.m. But then at 2 p.m. when that announcement came and the entire general public was aware, again, it shot up over 1%, and in this case for the S&P 500, almost 40 points. And the Nasdaq, 5 days in the red, but the one day, look at that jump at 2 p.m. And you can also see that same visual, the same optics reflected in Apple stock, as it does follow the market, as it is one of the Dow's biggest constituents. And at 2 p.m., it rose also over 1%, but for Apple's case, it was just a few dollars added to the share price. Apple ended up finishing up, and in after hours, up even more, as Dow futures are now up for Tuesday's trading day. Futures are now showing a gain of up over 100 points, and we can expect Tuesday to be a green trading day. Now, this does fit the same narrative that the Fed is doing all this effort to try to bail out corporations, but still, we do not have another stimulus check for ourselves. So if you would like to see my videos covering what my thoughts are on these stimulus checks, and if we can expect another one coming in the near future, then you can go ahead and click those links down below. But it just goes ahead and fits that same tune that the Fed is doing all this effort to bail out the corporations, but individuals are still left with, at this point, only a $1,200 one-time check. Now, the same question does keep coming up and again, where is this money coming from? How is this debt going to be paid for? How is the Fed able to just pump all this money into the economy? And we're living in a very artificial economy, as it's just backed by corporations and debt and bonds being bought and purchased and saved from the Fed. Does the market truly reflect the underlying economy that we're living in right now with over 40 million unemployed? These are the questions that you do have to ask yourself before throwing any money anywhere in any investment. But dollar cost averaging and buying consistently will allow you to stray away from any bumps or obstacles that the market may face. But as corporations are being saved, it does seem that your money would be safe in any stable company at this point, as no corporations are being allowed to fail right now. But I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, be sure that you give the video a big thumbs up, smash the like button, and if you'd like to see more videos from my channel, I post videos every single week covering business, finance, entrepreneurship, mindset, strategy, and tips and tricks from my own experience. Be sure that you subscribe, hit that big red button, and if you'd like to be notified every single time I make a new video so that we're first in line to see it before anyone else, be sure that you do click that notification bell as well so that we're notified every single time I make a new video. See you in the next one.